For decades, gardeners have been told that a perfect garden requires back-breaking labour, expensive tools, and endless soil tilling. But, what if all that effort is actually working against you? Enter biodynamic gardening, a centuries-old method that flips the script. Instead of forcing your soil to work, you learn to let it do the work for you. This approach not only reduces labour, but also improves soil health, boosts yields, and creates a resilient garden ecosystem. It's a philosophy rooted in observation, timing, and natural processes. No digging required. Today, we're exploring how biodynamic techniques transform ordinary soil into a living, self-sustaining system, and how you can apply these principles in your own garden for thriving crops with far less effort. Biodynamic gardening is about letting nature do the heavy lifting. At its core, biodynamic gardening emphasizes understanding and working with natural cycles rather than imposing human will through constant tilling or chemical fertilizers. Soil is viewed as a living organism, rich with microbes, fungi and nutrients, capable of supporting plants when properly nurtured. Instead of digging or turning your beds, biodynamic gardeners focus on feeding the soil through compost, mulches and plant diversity. This encourages beneficial organisms to aerate the soil naturally, breaking down organic matter and creating a spongy, nutrient-rich structure that plants love. Applying this is simple but transformative. Start by laying down organic material such as straw, leaves or compost over your beds. Over time, worms and microorganisms will incorporate this matter into the soil, building structure and fertility without ever touching a spade. This method conserves energy, prevents disruption of soil life, and enhances long-term productivity. One of the most distinctive aspects of biodynamic gardening is its attention to cosmic and lunar rhythms. Farmers have long observed that plant growth, flowering and root development respond to the position of the moon and planetary influences. Biodynamic practitioners use these insights to schedule planting, transplanting and harvesting, ensuring that plants take full advantage of natural energy cycles. For example, root vegetables are often planted during waning moons, while leafy greens thrive when sown in waxing periods. Even if you aren't ready to fully embrace lunar planting calendars, observing natural patterns can make a noticeable difference. Keep a simple log of germination rates, plant vigor, and harvest timing in relation to moon phases or seasonal changes. Over time, you'll develop an intuitive sense of when your garden naturally wants to grow, further reducing labour while increasing yields. Traditional gardening often relies on repeated soil turning and synthetic fertilizers to boost fertility. Biodynamic gardening takes a different approach, creating a deep, living compost layer that feeds the soil slowly and sustainably. Compost piles, infused with plant residues, manure, or biodynamic preparations, release nutrients gradually, feeding both plants and soil microbes. Mulching directly on top of garden beds not only retains moisture, but also encourages a healthy microbial ecosystem, which naturally aerates and enriches the soil over time. You can start small by setting up a simple compost heap in a corner of your garden and layering it onto beds every few weeks. Over time, you'll notice improved soil structure, more earthworms, and less need for watering or chemical inputs. By letting decomposition do the work, you replace hours of digging and fertilizing with a simple, natural process. Biodynamic gardens are rarely monocultures. Mixing different plant species together, flowers, vegetables, herbs, and nitrogen-fixing legumes, creates balance and supports soil fertility naturally. Plants exude compounds that feed microbes, repel pests, and improve nutrient cycling. For instance, planting legumes alongside heavy feeders like corn or tomatoes can naturally replenish nitrogen in the soil, while aromatic herbs deter insects and encourage pollinators. Applying this concept doesn't require complex planning. Start by mixing flowers or herbs into your vegetable beds, alternating crops each season, and observing which combinations thrive. The more diverse your planting, the more resilient your soil becomes, reducing the need for intervention and fostering a vibrant ecosystem that supports itself. In biodynamic gardening, watering is not just about keeping plants alive, it's about nurturing the soil ecosystem. Mulches and compost layers naturally retain moisture, reducing evaporation and preventing erosion. Rainwater harvesting and slow absorption techniques further enhance soil vitality, ensuring that water penetrates deeply rather than running off the surface. By letting the soil retain and distribute moisture naturally, plants receive consistent hydration without constant manual irrigation. For practical application, cover bare soil with straw, leaves, or shredded cardboard and observe how moisture is retained. Install simple barriers or swales to direct rainfall into garden beds and allow the soil to absorb gradually. This approach conserves water, protects soil structure, and promotes healthy root systems. Perhaps the most important principle is patience. Biodynamic gardening is not about instant results. It's about building a resilient system that feeds itself over time. By observing your soil, noting plant responses, and adjusting natural inputs, you learn to work with the garden instead of against it. This hands-off, observant approach creates a sustainable cycle where soil fertility, plant health, and productivity all improve year after year. Biodynamic gardening proves that you don't need fancy tools, constant digging, or synthetic fertilizers to create a thriving garden. By feeding your soil, respecting natural cycles, and encouraging plant diversity, your garden can flourish while conserving your time and energy. If you found this guide valuable, subscribe to Hydro Haven and share this video with fellow gardening enthusiasts. The soil has its own wisdom. Learn to listen, and it will do the hard work for you.